You've probably come here because you've heard that prompt engineering is going to be a really big thing. Prompt engineering has certainly received a lot of hype since AI became a part of our tech ether about 2 years ago. If you're going to be working with LLMs such as GPT or Claude, or if you're working in an AI company, having some knowledge of prompting will open up possibilities and set you up for success when working with AI powered products. And there's an art to prompting too. It's the art of using language to leverage an AI model with a fixed data set and to get whatever kind of output you want. So if you want to know how to prompt better, you come to the right place. Let's get into it. Before I talk about practices, I want to quickly go over the limitations of AI and prompt engineering because it's easy to get carried away and try to get AI to do things that it can't or really shouldn't do. Its output is based on complex statistical and mathematical processes that would go over most people's heads. So because of that, it struggles with tasks that require creativity, empathy, and any sort of complex reasoning. Really anything that requires out-of-the-box thinking or human context or connection. I'll make a separate video illuminating these points further if you're interested. With that said, there are still very powerful potential uses for AI, and good prompting can only help you maximize the impact. Much like how knowing different Google search techniques can only improve your research skills. So I'm going to share 5 best practices for getting the most out of your prompts. Stay tuned for the last tip, which I learned from my own professional experience and haven't learned from any resource when I was first learning how to prompt. Number 1, be specific. Okay, so let's take a look at this example of asking an AI to create a study plan. Hopefully you'll notice right away that this is a really bad prompt. It's not specific and there's no real context given. In real life, when you create a study plan for yourself, you take into account your current skill set, your goals, and the time you can commit to the plan, none of which are provided in the prompt. So let's go ahead and improve it. Okay, so now right here we have our improved version of our prompt. Now this works because in this one, you're giving the AI your goal, which in this case is to study natural language processing. You're giving it your current skill set, which is that you know Python. And you're also telling it your constraints, which is that you work full-time and that you can only do this in 10 hours a week. This is plenty of information for the AI to work with. Remember, it's up to you, the human, to give your LLM a context to work with. Otherwise, it won't know what you want and it'll just try to give you something and try to make you happy. Number 2, format your output. Now, because AI is a probabilistic process, adding a format will make your outcome more predictable and add a level of explicitness that will improve your prompts. This is more important when you're developing and scaling an application centered on a large language model to be used by hundreds or thousands or even millions of users. The company where I work is currently serving over 10,000 users who use the app daily as part of their workflow. Having a predictable output gives your app a greater sense of stability. Formats are extremely helpful if you want to break down a document or a complex topic, or just simply give predictability to whatever you're trying to do. Back to the previous example, you can further improve the prompt by asking for a detailed breakdown of what to study and why. Notice this time, we're telling it to give us explicitly which topic we want, why it's relevant to natural language processing, when we're going to do it, denoted by the week number, and the prerequisite knowledge required, what you need to know before you even get started. This way, your LLM can easily infer what you need in order for it to be successful at the task. Now, there's definitely no right or wrong way to do this. It all depends on what you're hoping to accomplish with your prompt. Number 3, experiment with your prompt. Don't just look at the output of your first run and assume that your prompt is great or garbage. Again, AI is probabilistic, so every run is going to come out different, even if you format the heck out of it. You could get a good output, you could get garbage output. You just don't know after one run. A best practice in experimenting with prompts is to run it at least 4 times. Okay, 4 times to see how well it actually runs. As a general rule, if you run it 4 times in a row and it gives you good results at least 3 out of 4 times, your prompt is good enough. You could definitely run it more to be safe, but 4 runs is pretty standard, and that should give you enough data to work with so that you can refine your prompt further. Number 4, try different AI models. Remember, no two AIs are the same, even AI models made by the same company. So sometimes trying a different AI model is the right approach. If you're using the standard GPT 3.5 model, you might want to consider trying GPT 4. Now, the model is more expensive, so I would only consider it if you have a really good reason for it, other than being more powerful. Now, in my experience, you might want to use GPT 4 for a couple of reasons. First off, the training data is more recent. It goes up to December 2023, whereas GPT 3.5 goes up to September 2021. And the second reason is that GPT-4 has a much larger context window. Now, if you're working with very long documents, then this would be a good model to use. Of course, another option is to use a model made by a completely different company. One model that's currently competing with OpenAI right now is Anthropic's Claude, which seems to output higher quality text, and it also has an API that you can use, like ChatGPT. You can also try any of the other open source models that exist, such as Llama, Mistral AI, and Bloom. Remember, no two AIs are the same. They are most likely trained on different data sets or are fine-tuned differently. So you really have to explore the AI model landscape for yourself to see what best fits your needs. If there's an LLM out there that you like and that we can all try, let us know in the comments and tell us why you like it. Now, as I said in the beginning of this video, the last tip I have is something I picked up in my own professional experience. I haven't found this tip anywhere when I was learning how to properly prompt, so this is a hard-won tip. Number 5, improve your background knowledge. As you may have gathered from the other best practices in this video, prompt engineering is not as technical as you might think. It's more closely related to your background knowledge on the subject you're prompting on and your ability to articulate it. I'll give you an example from my own work experience. My first paid AI software project was an AI assistant for teachers, which was a handful of tools that generated goals, activities, quizzes, and other things that teachers would find useful. When I ran the beta tests and solicited feedback from users, I found that the features became more useful as I added more precise vocabulary to my prompts and used terms from pedagogy to describe what I needed. I used to be a teacher, so I was able to draw upon my background knowledge a lot when I was improving the prompts. Because of that, I was able to quickly translate user feedback into prompts that returned something more useful than my initial prompts. I have an unlisted video of the application in action, so check the link in the description if you want to see it. Relevant background knowledge in your prompt matters and can mean the difference between a decent AI product and a great AI product. If you're building an AI product from the ground up, a really good move is to get subject matter experts involved. They can provide more insight than the smartest engineers ever could. Hopefully you gained more insight on how to prompt engineer like a pro. I'd say the overarching theme for becoming a better prompter or a prompt engineer is that the more explicit you are about what you need and the context you're working with, the better the results you'll get from your AI. I think this person from Hacker News summed up the idea of prompting very well. They say prompting is basically the same thing as writing requirements as a PM. You need to describe what you want with precision and the appropriate level of detail while giving relevant, useful context. Doing it with an LLM isn't that different from doing it with a human. I'd definitely love to hear what you guys think of that, so please comment below with your thoughts on it. There's definitely a few practices that I missed, so if you're interested in improving your prompting skills, I recommend starting with the documentation of your chosen LLM. OpenAI and Anthropic both have a prompt engineering section in their documentation, which I'll link to in the description. I would definitely go there after this video. It's their LLM, they'll know how to prompt it. If you learned something new, please like, comment, and subscribe, and that'll encourage me to continue making more videos. I love all things related to software, particularly AI, and front-end development and creative coding. So if you like that kind of stuff, give me a follow, and let me know in the comments which other kinds of content you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.